Hello everyone, welcome. Yep, gardener down, but don't worry, it isn't as bad as it looks. For a while, a few years in fact, I've been suffering from a disease called Dupuytren's Contracture, and what it is a problem within your skin, flesh, that latches onto the tendons in your hands or your toes, or I don't know, hands or toes, that's what I know. And what it does is it slowly curls your fingers in, and as you can see, I was getting to the point where my hands, or my left hand, was really quite curled up, and you've probably noticed it on a few of the videos I do, where my little finger was totally bent at 90 degrees and my middle finger was probably 45 degrees. And if it's left untreated, they continue to curl in and curl in and curl in to the point where they can't actually rectify it, because they can't get in there to cut you open and do what they've got to do. So today at 7:30 I went in to the hospital, and at about 8:30, 9 o'clock I went down for surgery, and it's about an hour and a half, something like that. I had a good sleep and came round, had some tea, had some toast, had a pee, and they let me go home. So by about I don't know, 2 o'clock I was back home again, and not really had any bad side effects of the anaesthetics, general anaesthetic or anything like that. And I generally don't. I've had quite a lot of operations over the years, from martial arts injuries to work injuries to climbing injuries, and I normally recover pretty quick. I bounce quite well, and I've come out all bandaged up. The sling is purely here to like take the weight of my arm, and the cast. Yeah, I'm in a cast. On the front it's a half cast, or a back cast they call it, and that's keeping my fingers all straight while the skin and what have you heals up. I'll have a nice zigzag scar on my hand, because they cut in a zigzag apparently rather than a straight cut, because that way they can pull the skin back together far easier, makes it stretch a bit further I think. And go back in a couple of weeks, have the stitches out, and then they will make a like a removable splint, a gel splint I think it is, which I need to wear as much as possible throughout the healing process. So I'll have a bit of physio and all that, but for those of you that follow the channel, you will know this is not going to stop me gardening, and it isn't going to slow me down much either. I can find a way around it. I broke my cruciate ligament years and years ago, martial art training one night. Well, I didn't break it, my mate broke it for me, thanks Gary. And I had the operation, went to physio, and after about 6 weeks or so I went to physio the one day, and the guy said, ex-rugby player, really nice guy, and he said, so what did you do the weekend then? I went up Snowdon. He wasn't happy, because you should not be doing things like that with a broken, or after a recent cruciate ligament operation. But as a mountaineer, it wasn't going to stop me going up the mountains, and this isn't going to stop me doing some gardening. So that's what it is. So it's going to slow me down a bit, that's all. And interestingly, it's nicknamed Viking disease. Yeah, okay. And I have done some research into the family tree, and we do descend from the Vikings. In fact, we had some point in history the family had a quite a high position in Normandy, so an advisor to the king or the whatever, I don't know, but and if you go back through the name, then we were also predominant in the northeast of the UK and were farmers. We had farms, so yeah, maybe that's the connection with growing the vegetables. But yeah, we gave up raping and pillaging a long time ago, because you get in trouble for that sort of stuff nowadays. But yeah, I am a descendant of the Viking, and it's people with Scandinavian DNA that generally suffer from Dupuytren's Contracture, and they believe, some people believe, that it goes back to rowing the longboats, or holding your hand like that for hours and days and weeks on end, rowing ships, and of course swords and all that sort of stuff. And I must say that the care I received in the hospital from the NHS was first class. It's taken a long time to get that care, I admit, and that isn't the fault of the people that work on the ground in the NHS. That is down to how it's run and how it's managed, how the budgets are managed, how the resources are allocated, all of this sort of stuff. But I want to say a big thank you to the people that cared for me today, from the nurses to the surgeon to the porters to everybody that was involved, and there was a lot of people involved. I would say something like 20 people involved just to fix my hand up. So Dave, if you're watching, we were there, we were talking about vegetables. You're growing vegetables. Dave was one of the nurses. I think he was a nurse. Sorry Dave if I've got that wrong. But fantastic job, mate. You and the rest of the team, fantastic. So thank you very, very much. I hope you do come and watch the channel, Dave. Leave me a comment if you are. And yeah, massive thanks. And to the politicians, let me call them that, politicians and decision makers, the budget spenders, etc., that are all involved with the NHS, sort your out, because you're letting them down. You're letting the British people down, and you're letting down the people that work in the NHS. Those people are fantastically skilled, caring, patient, and what have you. And the way that you run the NHS is the problem, not the people. So sort it out. So I thought I'd let you all know about this little setback. It is only a very small setback, and like I say, it is not going to stop me gardening, and it is not going to stop me putting out videos either, or doing the live, or anything like that. I have a teenage son who can be told that he's going to help me set things up and do things. So wear out the young ones first, I say. So that's that, guys. I am recovering, I'm perfectly okay, and I will no doubt be back in the garden tomorrow. So see you then.